Lex Luthor. Possibly you've heard the name, the greatest criminal mind on Earth.
Black box, Otis. Goes beyond any conventional radar.
I'm sorry, can I help you?
Actually, I think I'm here to help you. I'm Avery Tolar, your designated mentor.
Now, Ned, you and Mr. Quincy and, what was the young fella's name? Beautiful women. They are a breed unto themselves. Wouldn't you agree? A beautiful woman moves through life unchallenged.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Let's listen to Pavarotti.
Can I be your superhero?
Hello, welcome to The Revealing. I am your host, Pavarotti, and I'm here to discuss the more than suspicious circumstances that surrounds the death of Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog. In this video, I'm going to give you some background on Gene Hackman. I have somebody in the community that has inside knowledge into the home of Gene Hackman. We'll listen to some of that information. I'll give you some background on the case. And then when we're done, I'm going to give you my interpretation of the facts and circumstances that surround this case. And unfortunately, my determination of the facts and circumstances aren't good. I believe this to be purposeful. And I believe that all of the facts and circumstances around this point to this being a purposeful act by nefarious individuals. Before we get into it, though, let's look at a little background on the case. I've got a news article we're going to look at that gives us some of the facts that surround this, and then we'll hear from that inside source on some of the layout of the house. So let's just get right into it. By the way, in fact, before I do that, the reason that I am diving into this is very strange events. About a week and a half ago, my wife and I sat down and we watched a movie that I've seen several times called Under Suspicion, starring none other than Gene Hackman. And as I was watching that movie that I hadn't seen in years, unbeknownst to me, Gene Hackman was unalived and people were not even knowing it at the time. And I've always been a fan of his. As you see in the opening, I've put several of his more famous movies, although he's been in many great ones. So one of my favorite actors of all time. In fact, I didn't even realize he was 95 years old before this happened. So I have been looking into it quite a bit, and I hope to shed some light on the situation with this video. Let's get started. Gene Hackman's and wife Betsy Arakawa's cause of death still under investigation, and here's what we know. This is dated March 3rd. The Oscars paid tribute to Gene Hackman Sunday night, just days after the two-time Academy Award winner and his wife and their dog were found dead in their home in New Mexico. Our community lost a giant, and I lost a dear friend. Actor Morgan Freeman said of Hackman before an in memoriam video recognized actors and others who had died in the past year. Freeman appeared in two films with Hackman, Unforgiven and Under Suspicion, the one that I watched just last week. Like everyone who shared a scene with him, I learned he was a generous performer and a man whose gifts elevated everyone's work, Freeman said. Several questions remain about the deaths of Hackman, 95, and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, 65. Here's what we know from investigators. Official results of the autopsies and toxicology reports are still pending. Santa Fe County Sheriff Adam Mendoza said Friday. Hackman and Arakawa tested negative for carbon monoxide poisoning, he said. The sheriff's office also said there were no signs of blunt force trauma when their bodies were found. We're going to need to make a mental note of the negative testing for carbon monoxide poisoning, because I believe that is a clue in this mystery. Hackman's pacemaker recorded its last event on February 17th, which was 9 days before the bodies were found, Mendoza said Friday. The sheriff said it's possible that that was Hackman's last day of life. A search warrant issued the day Arakawa and Hackman's bodies were found says they showed signs of decomposition, bloating in the face, and mummification of hands and feet. Mummification preserves a body after death and can happen naturally when the skin dries out, according to the National Library of Medicine. Hackman and Arakawa were found dead in their home outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, according to deputies who responded to the house at about 1:45 p.m. local time on February 26th. Hackman was found in what is believed to be the home's mudroom. It appeared he had fallen suddenly, the search warrant says. He was found wearing sweatpants, a long-sleeve t-shirt, and slippers. Arakawa was found in the bathroom near the front door of the home, according to the warrant. The door to the bathroom was opened. Arakawa was on the ground wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt. An opened orange prescription bottle and scattered pills were seen on a countertop near Arakawa, the warrant says. A space heater was also seen near Arakawa's head. This is another clue right here. Whenever we see things like an orange prescription bottle and scattered pills were seen on a countertop near Arakawa, I want you to think of how somebody would stage something after an incident happens. That is almost a scene out of a movie, and it is in the bathroom near the front of the house, obviously not the bathroom that the couple used, their main bathroom, where somebody would normally expect to find prescription medicine. A German shepherd was found in a closet of the bathroom where Arakawa's body was discovered, the warrant says. Mendoza said the dog was in a kennel or crate. The dog's cause of death also remains undetermined. There were 2 dogs found alive on the property when deputies arrived, the warrant says. Now, I believe anybody would stop right here, and obviously with owning 3 dogs, this couple was dog lovers. 2 of the dogs were outside, left unharmed, but we have 1 dog on the inside in a bathroom closet in a kennel or crate. We know that no dog lover is going to put their dog in a bathroom closet in a kennel or crate, and that is very suspicious. No immediate signs of foul play. Deputies found the door to Hackman and Arakawa's home unsecured and opened, the warrant says. They were initially called to the home after someone who arrived to do maintenance did not receive an answer and became concerned, the sheriff's office said. There were no signs of forced entry or that the house had been rummaged through, though, deputies said. There were no obvious signs of a gas leak at the home, deputies said. The Santa Fe City fire personnel and the New Mexico Gas Company tested the scene for carbon monoxide and other foreign elements and did not find any, the sheriff's office said. Carbon monoxide is an odorless, colorless gas that kills hundreds of people each year. And then it's going to get into the movies that Gene Hackman was in, which he was in a lot of really good movies. But I think it's better for us right now to focus on these circumstances that we have available, and we can start to determine some facts about this case and where I believe law enforcement needs to look first. Now, that's actually a lot of information for us to start to put a picture together of what could have happened in this case. But before I do that, let's listen to an inside source that's familiar with the house and familiar with the couple. And let's get a little bit more facts about the actual residence of Gene Hackman and his wife. And this is going to be from a content creator named unfilteredlucky, who does excellent work and actually knew the Hackmans. So I'll put the link to his video in the description of this video, but let's listen to some of the information that Lucky has about the Hackman's residence.
I have some inside information. I want to start out by describing the area where Gene and Betsy lived and where they were found. They lived in the Hyde Park area of Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is a very exclusive area just north of the city of Santa Fe. It's very private. It's very secluded. From Gene Hackman's back patio, you could see all the way to the Colorado mountains. And Gene Hackman and Betsy have lived there since the mid-90s. They have a very big property. They lived on 12 acres, and their main house was over 10,000 square feet. Their guest house was 2,500 square feet. It's a very, very big property, and it's not the type of property that someone might just stumble upon. It's very secluded. There's a really long drive that leads from the main road to Gene Hackman and Betsy's house. There's also a gatehouse at the bottom of that area. This isn't the type of house that someone is just going to stumble upon.
Thank you, Lucky. Now that we've got the facts about the residents and the circumstances surrounding the event, I think it's important for us to look at some of the assumptions that can be made along with the facts that could lead us to a possible scenario. And to do that, first, let's think about a few things. I'm going to title the red flags Under Suspicion in memory of Gene Hackman. The first thing that I find very disturbing is the fact that they were undiscovered for 9 days. This is a 10,000 square foot property where one of the occupants is 95 years old and the other one is in their 60s. Nobody's going to tell me that they are cleaning this 10,000 square foot property themselves. They would obviously have cleaning staff, and I would have to assume that they would come more than once every couple of weeks to maintain a house of this size. And then there's the fact that Gene Hackman was 95 years old. Somebody of that age is, and we know he had a pacemaker, he's obviously going to have home health nurses or some type of home health aides coming to see him periodically. And again, I would have to think it would be more than once a week. So the fact that none of these personnel came to the house during that 9-day period is very disturbing to me. Next, we all know that dog lovers, especially ones that keep their dog in a kennel, would never put their dog in a kennel in a bathroom closet. Obviously, somebody put that dog in that bathroom closet in that kennel to muffle his barking as they proceeded to do whatever it was they were proceeding to do. This is a huge red flag. At first, when I heard the story, I thought the dog was just put in a closet. That I could rationalize, that maybe she found Gene, passed away, and to keep the dog from going to Gene, she put him in a closet. But with the dog being in the kennel, she would never, I don't even think she would be capable of picking up a dog kennel with a German Shepherd in it and putting it in a closet in a bathroom. So that is a huge red flag. Then there's possible crime scene staging. The fact that they found Miss Betsy lying on the floor in the bathroom with prescription pills all around her on the floor seems more like a scene out of a movie rather than an actual scene. And if she found Gene unalived on the floor, obviously the first thing she would have done is gone and called 911, not went to a guest bathroom and started pulling out prescription pills. And again, I have to think, why would her prescription pills even be in a guest bathroom? those types of things are usually kept in your personal bathroom. This seems more like crime scene staging to me than anything else. And then the fact that law enforcement still considers this as suspicious circumstances leads me to my next red flag. The fact that the first thing law enforcement wanted to rule out was carbon monoxide poison due to possible gas leaks. And as soon as they ruled those out, I believe they did that for a reason. I believe that law enforcement believed that they were unalived due to asphyxiation. Asphyxiation, if not caused by a gas leak, would lead law enforcement to the assumption that they were asphyxiated. And the reason that criminals asphyxiate people, unfortunately, like you see here with the plastic bag, is because it does not leave incriminating evidence on the victim. There is no strangulation marks. There is no signs of blunt force trauma. It is a way to do something and not leave evidence and leave the circumstances undetermined until they can determine if it was actual asphyxiation or not. That is something that I will keep my eyes open for. All of these circumstances lead me to believe the motive in this crime, if it indeed was a crime, was robbery. Now, when I say robbery, I'm not talking about inexperienced teenagers. I'm talking about people that are very experienced at what they do. I have to think, because of the facts and circumstances that are available to us right now, when they say that the house was not ransacked, that is an indication that they knew what they were going after. I mean, we have to assume that Gene Hackman, in his storied movie career, was very wealthy. Obviously, the home that he lived in was a indication of that. Wealthy people typically have valuable items in their home. The fact that nobody had been to that home in 9 days, including cleaning staff or home health staff, is an indication, I believe, that somebody who was familiar with the property and familiar with the items contained within that property could have possibly told somebody about those items. I'm not saying that they were liable for what happened, but it's very easy for them to talk to the wrong people and talk about things that they probably shouldn't have. And if the wrong people got wind of that, and I think there's a lot of things that indicate that may be the case. For example, the front door being left open when they left. You wouldn't think that even in a secluded area, a 95-year-old and a lady in their 60s would leave their front door open. The fact that the dog was in a kennel in the bathroom closet, I don't believe she could even pick the dog up to put him in there. Then there's possible staging of the victims. Law enforcement believing that they died from some type of asphyxiation. It leads me to the conclusions that somebody knew what was in there. They went into the home, got exactly what it was they were looking for, unalived the two victims in the home, more than likely by asphyxiation so that there wouldn't be any evidence of what took place, and then staged the bodies and then left. To me, in my humble opinion, we have a crime scene on our hands in this situation. And if I was law enforcement, the first place that I would start would be interrogating any of the staff that has access to the interior of that home, or any staff that has had access to the interior of that home over the last couple of years. That would probably be the best place to start their initial investigation. But I will stay on top of this one as well, because as more facts come out, I will update you on the facts, because this is not a situation that is free from suspicion. In fact, if there's ever been a case where it should be under suspicion, I believe it's this one. But please like and subscribe to the channel. Post your comments, your thoughts, your criticisms. And until next time, Pavarotti's out.